For today, if you're joining again, we have a packed agenda. We are going to learn some more best practices on prompting. We're going to continue exploring use cases for Copilot, and we're going to have you practice. Today is going to be the day of you getting into some teams and practicing together. So we're excited to do that. And for our journey, today we're in day 2 in context. Yesterday we explored goals, and then tomorrow we're going to talk about all the types of sources you can gather to help Copilot give you best answers. And next, expectations. Towards the end, we're going to have you submit your prompts, and then we're going to have an award ceremony. As a reminder, we have great Microsoft swag, as well as we're going to be giving away a prompt pack with all the prompts we collected so that you can maybe share with your colleagues in your organizations. All right, so for those of you who joined us today, we have reviewed the core ingredients of a good prompt yesterday, and we said those are goal, context, source, and expectations. So using the example of writing a Christmas message for our company newsletter, then that's the goal, and then showing appreciation for the year where that's the context I want to give Copilot. And then maybe I have a file with our year achievements, that's my source. And then the expectations help define the output, and it's keep this message warm and professional and limit it to 120 words. So the better or the more you can use this type of recipe for your prompt, the better, because it'll give you the best answers. And I wanted just to say one thing I like to do and how I like to think about goals, just to finish off with goals, is in terms of action verbs, right? So if there is an action verb that you can use, it's likely something Copilot can do. So I'll give you examples of things that I normally do. So writing could be drafting, redrafting messages. Even yesterday, I had a call with someone in Spanish, my native language. And then I asked Copilot to translate essentially what we had discussed into English in Copilot chat for Teams. You can have Copilot do that for you. Planning, you can ask Copilot to build a plan. It may ask you to schedule a meeting. For analysis, you could ask Copilot to interpret data or analyze it, gather some insights. Compare, we talked about comparing 2 resumes yesterday. If you drag and drop the 2 resumes into Copilot chat, it can do that for you. And design, we'll practice that soon. And it's all about creating images as well as brainstorming ideas, or even personalizing your messages, right? So again, if you think of an action verb, it's a goal. And if you start with the goal, then you have the first ingredient of a prompt. Now, context is everything as we know it. And if you can think of Copilot as your assistant, would you give an assistant an action to do for you without giving her or him a little bit of context as to why you want that person to do what you want that person to do? So we're going to really spend a little bit more time here, and then we're going to move into the activities. So what are some of the ways that you can ask Copilot to give, or how you can give Copilot context? The first one, and very simple one, instead of forcing Copilot to guess, is to give background details. So something I do often, I find myself doing it almost now, without thinking, is to give Copilot a lot of details before I even put my action item or my action verb, right? So for example, I need to plan for a presentation and I am looking to present this to executives. Help me draft an outline for the presentation, right? So you're giving Copilot a lot of information so that it can give you the best answers. Number 2, and we saw that with the example of the act as someone else, you can ask Copilot to act as someone else, or you can give Copilot information about who you are, and it'll give you different answers. So for example, one of the things you could do is say, act as a financial advisor and recommend ways to proceed with this prompt. Or something I tried and I encourage you to try, it's really fun. If you are putting together, say, talking points for an important presentation, ask Copilot to act as Steve Jobs and give you ideas of what those talking points can be. You'll be surprised. It really does a great job at personifying the talking points and making them more fun. And then one tip I want to give you on this is to customize your Copilot memory. So your Copilot chat has a memory, and it's if you want to see where that is, we can show you. It's at the top right-hand corner if you click on those three dots. You can go in there and give Copilot some instructions about who you are. You may be a financial advisor, you may be a communication specialist, marketing person, you may be in sales. Copilot will then help you customize the output by remembering who you are. Another way to do this, by the way, is just tell Copilot, remember I am in the chat, and Copilot will add it directly to the memory. So we can show you that if you're interested, but these are great ways to, again, give Copilot more context. The last one I want to give you, tip number 3, is to give Copilot a simple question. What specific details do you need from me to give me the best answers? And Copilot will actually, before even responding, it'll give you, I need this, I need the other, and you will be in a better place. So 3 tips essentially to give Copilot more context, add some ideas up front before you put the action verb. Number 2, create a persona and ask Copilot to act as that persona, or tell Copilot who you want to present this to. And then finally, ask Copilot point blank, what context do you need from me? All right. So now I'm going to just cover two more examples, live examples that I want to share with you, and then we're going to jump into groups. The first one I have, as you may recall, I was doing a little bit of working on a holiday event, and yesterday we saw how I could use Copilot in Teams to help me digest all the action items from our meeting. And then we went into Copilot to also just remind myself. We did Teams, and we did planning. So we planned the event in Microsoft Planner. We asked Copilot to essentially create the plan for us. Here, what I want to do is I want to ask people to RSVP for the event ahead of the event. So I'm going to use a form in Microsoft Forms to gather RSVPs. So I have my little cheat sheet here. I'm going to pick this up and say to Copilot to help me organize for this event. I need a little bit of an RSVP. So I'm organizing a holiday event for my company, Change Champions. Please create a holiday theme form to request employees to RSVP to our event and ask them to confirm their needs for food. And maybe I'll add a little bit more context here. I need this by December 15th. Okay. And so let's see what Copilot gives us with this. You can see here, by the way, that I've given Copilot a little bit more context up front, as I was saying, and then I put the action verb. So this is going to give me a little more of a crafted answer. Let's check it out. And there we go. So I'll keep this because I think this does a good job, but I'm going to share with you so that you can see what it produced. As you can see, first question, will you be attending the holiday event? Great question. Second, give me your preferences and restrictions for food. And finally, please confirm the end by the date. So as you can see, very simple prompt, very powerful response. If you don't have the paid version, by the way, of Copilot, you can still do this. Simply go to Copilot Chat and put the same prompt here. It'll give you all the answers. Once you have the answers, you can put them in forms. No stress. All right, number 2, I want Copilot to help me a little bit with data analysis in this case. So continuing on with the example of the holiday event, I'm going to ask Copilot, I'm just going to put it there, acting as a financial analyst, to please provide a summary of my recent holiday event data. Now, the event has happened, and all I need is basically a bit of insights into how much we spent, who attended, what groups, and so on. So let's check it out. This is by the way, my holiday event data. You can see it here. It's quite complex. There's about 50 lines. If you're curious, by the way, you can do this with Copilot. You can create data sets as well. And I just want simply Copilot to give me some cool insights on this. I'm not going to give too specific, but just to see what it does, right? So I'm going to drag and drop this into the chat there, and you can see it's already being uploaded to the cloud. I'm going to say go. And I have, by the way, GPT-5 on. When you do that, you're going to have much richer responses. So try it out. Highly recommend it. And you can see Copilot is reasoning. I always get curious, by the way, if you are interested, you can see what it reasons in. And the difference between Copilot chat without GPT and with GPT on is the reasoning. It's using much more of an in-depth reasoning than it would without it. So that's the key takeaway there. You can see it's giving us quite a bit of rich information. So we're going to get there in just a second. All right, so I have my my KPIs. So, before this presentation, I asked Copilot, what is the difference between the response you've given me as a financial advice or a financial analyst and had I not added that context to my prompt? And the answer was very clear. I've given you much more in terms of KPIs and data. And so it's really analyzing this from the perspective of someone from a finance point of view. So you can see, play around with this and give it a try. I think it's quite cool what Copilot can do. And again, this, folks, is something you can do with or without the paid license. So that's what I think is even more fun. All right, with that, having done that, now we want to jump into our team activity. So what we're going to do now is, over the next 10 minutes, we're going to put you in breakout rooms. And then we're going to ask you to, together, think of a holiday scenario. This could be things like, I want to connect with my customers and do a recap on the wins of the year, and then maybe schedule another meeting in the first quarter of the year. Or I want to plan an event for my organization, or I want to have Copilot help me with a report of all our sales and marketing efforts. You name it, pick something generic and make it simple. We don't want too complicated scenarios because otherwise it'll be too complicated. Now, you can work as a team to develop this scenario. You can also create your own scenario later on and just work on it. We leave it up to you, but I think if we have a generic scenario for this, even better. Number two, once you have your scenario, break it up into tasks. So you remember my scenario was creating an event for our holidays. The first thing is, let's meet the plan. The second step was, let's create a presentation to get buy-in from executives. The number three was, let's build a plan for it, right? So what are your tasks? And step three, add content to the template. So I'll show you here and we'll analyze how we do that. So you should have this template. If you don't have it, please let us know. But scenario name goes here. Again, organized in a holiday event. Tasks go here. So you can say, for example, planned event, gather feedback from my employees on their food restrictions, whatever these tasks will be. And then once you have the tasks, then just provide a little description to the task. Very simple description. And finally, what app from here can you drag and drop? Because maybe if you had some dietary restrictions you wanted to inquire about, maybe you can use Microsoft Forms, right? It should have all the apps that you need here. Or maybe you're creating a little image for the event, you can use Microsoft Create. Or if you're creating a presentation, PowerPoint. So you name it, just drag and drop some of these things. Now, for this exercise, if you can simply just start, and then we'll bring you back in 10 minutes. We'll have you maybe provide us with a summary of what you've discussed if we have time. If not, we'll do it next time, but we'd like to focus on this task. Any questions before we move you into breakout rooms?
The problem, Thon, Pat, we need another link for that, please.
I just put it into the chat.
Thanks.
And
No
the
problem.
deck is on slide 5. The file you need is on slide 5. I will start the breakout room. I think we're gonna have 6 minutes for it right now, so we can get back to end at the time we at the half past the hour.
Why don't we
And
do it 8, Ivy? That way we have a little
8.
more time. I
Okay.
prefer to sacrifice the presentation, but at least
All
give
right.
them more. Yeah.
Okay. And the breakout room will give you a 30-second warning, and it will automatically bring you back to the plenary once the time is up. So enjoy. I will assign you to rooms now.
Hello. Welcome back. Jerry,
Sorry
I'll
about
connect
that.
with you afterwards, okay? And yeah, it sounds like you couldn't open the slides.
No,
That's right.
we're done. Yeah.
But I
Okay.
do have, I put it into a Word document, so I do have something.
Okay, so here,
Sounds good.
there.
Excellent. So here's what we're gonna do
Okay.
because we are on time. We want to be respectful of your time. Keep your notes. Tomorrow morning we'll get you to present. Maybe if anyone is interested in giving us their use case and tasks, and we'll reflect a little bit on what that is, and that way we're going to move forward. The next step, folks, is to craft the prompts. So we're not there yet. We want to take you to this through this process. But hopefully today you've gotten to a little use case that you can plan for and broke it down into the tasks. All right. Any questions before we move on to just wrapping up? You can raise your hand. Okay. Ilana, over to you.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the group activity and our session on context. For tomorrow, hopefully you're registered for our session on Santa's secret sources. You'll learn how to point your prompt to the right sources, like files, links, and chats, so Copilot can deliver the answer that's grounded, not wishful. So if you haven't registered, please do. I will add a link to the event page in the chat as well. And yeah, look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow to continue our Copilot prompting journey.